In the previous video, we talked about the partition procedure, how it partitions the array into two sub-arrays and returns an index q such that all the elements from p to q minus 1 are less than a of q, and all the elements from q plus 1 to r, or that is a of q plus 1 to r, are greater than a of q, right? So now let us see how quicksort makes use of the partition function to sort the array, right? If you haven't watched the previous video, please go and watch it, otherwise you won't be able to understand this one. Okay, so now let us see how quicksort works, right? So this is the quicksort procedure. Quicksort APR. If p less than r, q is equal to partition APR. Quicksort APQ minus 1, quicksort AQ plus 1r. Okay, so this looks similar to the merge sort procedure. The difference was in merge sort, it just partition q is equal to I think n by 2, right? So n by 2's floor. So in that p plus r by 2's floor. So merge sort divided the array into two equal halves, whereas the number of elements in each half or in each part in which the partition function divides the array into depends on q, depends on the index q, right, returned by it. So this looks very similar to the merge sort. Why? Because both of them are based on the divide and conquer paradigm, programming paradigm, right? So what it does is it first calls partition on the entire array, and then it returns an index q, right? And then it divides the array, or it calls quicksort on the two sub arrays that are formed as a part of partition. That is, partition partitions the array into two parts, right? So it then calls quicksort on the first half and first part, and then on the second part, right? So that is how quicksort works. Now let us see in detail how quicksort works on this particular array, also using the partition function, right? So this is the partition function we discussed in the previous video, right? So for reference, I did not rub it, and now we will see how quicksort and partition both are used to sort this array, right? So let us say this is array A, and the index starts from 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So the quicksort is called on A with P and R. So P is equal to 1 and R is equal to 8, or we can say R is equal to length of A, right? Where length of A denotes the length of array A, right? And P is equal to 1, that is P is the starting index, right? So if P is less than R, is 1 less than 8? True. So what will happen? So now P is less than R, 1 is less than 8, right? So Q is equal to partition APR. Now partition function is called on array A from indices P to R, that is from index 1 till 8, right? That is the entire array. Partition is called on the entire array in the first scope. Let us see how partition, what was partition doing? X is equal to A of R. X is this, right? Why? Because R is equal to 8. So X points to the last element. I is equal to P minus 1. I will point to here, right? Now for J is equal to P to R minus 1. That is J is equal to 1 to 7. What will do? It will check for an element which is smaller than or equal to X. That is the pivot element, right? So is 2 less than equal to 4? Yes. So what it will do? It will increment I and exchange A of I and A of J. So J also points here, I also points here, right? So J also points here and I also points here, right? So what happens when it exchanges A of I and A of J? Nothing will happen, right? So I and J are exchanged. A of I and A of J are exchanged. Now again J will be incremented. J will now point to this element. Now is A of J less than equal to X? No, it is not true. So what will happen? It will just increment. J will now point to this element, right? So is 7 less than equal to 4? No. So J will increment. So is 1 less than equal to 4? True. What will happen? I will be incremented and A of I and A of J will be exchanged. So A of J is 1. Why? Because J points to 4 currently, right? So 1 and 8 will be exchanged. 1 will be present here, 8 will be present here. Now again J will be incremented. Now is 3 less than equal to 4? True. What will happen? I will be incremented. And A of I and A of J will be exchanged. That is 7 and 3 will be exchanged. You can look here, okay? for reference if you don't understand at any point of time, or you can refer to the previous video in which I have explained the partition function. Okay, so now we have done the exchange. Now j is incremented. Now is 5 less than equal to 4? No, so incremented. Now is 6 less than equal to 4? No, so incremented. Now j has to run from 1 to 7. Why? Because p is equal to 1, r is equal to 8, and j has to run from p to r minus 1, that is from 1 to 7. Now now the loop ends here, right? So now what is the correct position of 4? Where should it be placed? At I plus 1. So what is I plus 1? Here. So now exchange a of I plus 1 with a of r, right? So r is here, right? So exchange a of I plus 1 with a of r. So 4 will come here, 8 will go there, right? So what it has done, it has selected the last element as pivot element and partitioned the subarray using the pivot element, right, into two parts, such that all the elements before the pivot element are less than the pivot element, and all the elements after the pivot element are greater than the pivot element. All the elements here 2, 1, 3 are smaller than 4, and all the elements 7, 5, 6, 8 are greater than 4, right? So we have done the partition successfully. Now what happens? It will return q. What it is returning? I plus 1. What was I? I is 3. So I plus 1 is 4, right? So it will return 4 here. Now let us remove this, and because this function is over, right? So let us leave it like this, right? So what is I plus 1? 4. So it is returning 4 here. So q becomes 4 now, right? So q becomes 4. So what happens? Now what it will do, it will call quicksort from on A from p to q minus 1. What was p? 1. So q is 4. So 4 minus 1 is 3. So it will call quicksort on A 1 and 3, right? That is on this part of the array. It will call quicksort on this part of the array, right? So when it calls quicksort on this part of the array, that is, it is calling the same function again. What it is called? Recursion. When the function calls itself, it is called a recursion, right? So what it is doing, it is calling the same function again. Now when it is again called, what will happen? P will remain same. Why? Because quicksort is called like this. Quicksort A, what is P? 1, Q minus 1 is 3. Right, so quicksort is called like this, A1, 3. Now when quicksort is called like A1, 3, what is P now? P is 1 and R is 3, right? P is 1 and R is 3. Now again it will check if P is less than R. Is P less than R? Is P less than R? Yes, it is less than R. So what will happen? Q is equal to partition APR. That is, now it is partitioning the array A from P to R. What is R now? R is 3. So it is partitioning this array, right? First of all, what we did was we partitioned the entire array. Now when we got the index or the index before which all the elements are smaller than it, and after which all the elements are greater than it, then we are calling quicksort on the left half and also on the right half. We will see next, because the next call is on A from Q plus 1 to R. That is, first we will call quicksort on this part and then we will call quicksort on this part, right? So now when we are calling quicksort on this part, let us see what happens. Now P is less than R, so Q is equal to partition APR. That is, now we are going to partition this sub part of the array or this sub array, right? So this sub array quicksort is partition is called. Quicksort has already been called on this, right? So partition will be called on this array. Now let us see what will happen. Now when partition is called with APR, what is P now? P is 1 and R is 3. P was 1 and R was 3. So just the same parameters will be passed to the partition function. Now what it will do? It will put R is this for this particular function and P is this. P is 1 and R is 3. So what it will do? X is equal to A of R. Now X is equal to this. So what was X? X was the pivot element around which we were partitioning the array, right? So X becomes A of R. That is, X is equal to 3 now, right? I is equal to P minus 1. I point somewhere here. For J is equal to P to R minus 1. That is, what is R now? R is 3. So J will run from 1 to 3 minus 1. That is from 1 to 2. Right? So from 1 to 2 J runs. What it will do? if a of j is less than equal to x, now j points here, x does not point here, x is equal to 3 now. Okay, now is 2 less than equal to 3? True. So what will happen? I will be incremented. Now I will be incremented, and a of I and a of j will be exchanged. Since both of them are pointing to the same element, the exchange operation won't result in anything new. That is, 2 is exchanged with 2 itself. So nothing more will happen, right? So this element will remain as it is. Now j will be incremented. J is incremented now, and I remains here itself, right? Because I is not incremented. I was incremented earlier itself. Exchange a of I with a of j. We have already done this. Now j is equal to, j will be incremented as a result of increment operation of the for loop. So j will be incremented now. Now a of j is less than, if a of j is less than equal to a of r, or if a of j is less than equal to x, is 1 less than equal to 3? True. So what will happen? I is equal to I plus 1. Now I is equal to I plus 1, and again it will try to exchange the same element. What is a of j? 1. A of I is 1. So 1 will be exchanged with 1. Nothing will happen. So exchange operation does not result in anything new. I still points here, and j. Now j, when it points here, it comes out of the loop. Why? Because j has to run only from p to r minus 1. So what was r? R was 3. So it has to run from 1 to 2, right? Index 1 to 2 and not elements 1 to 2, right? So it had to run from 1 to 2, and it has completed its run. So now the partition function is over. So what did we see in this case is the partition function does not result in anything new. Why? Because the pivot element is already in its correct position. Alright, it already has all the elements which have to be smaller than it on the left side, and the elements which are larger than it on the right side. So no element is larger than this element 3. Alright, so it has to be placed exactly here. So no change has resulted as a result of partition function, right? So now what happens is exchange a of I plus 1 with a of r. Now what is I plus 1? I plus 1 is equal to 3. Why? Because I is equal to 2. So I plus 1 is 3. Exchange a of I plus 1 with a of r. That is, again it is saying that exchange 3 with 3 itself. Because r is 3, a of r is 3. And a of I plus 1 is also 3. Why? Because I pointed here, right? So again it is saying to exchange 3 with 3 itself. So nothing will happen. And what it will do, it will return I plus 1. That is, it will return 3 as a result of the partition function. So Q is 3 now, right? So 3 is the correct position of this pivot element, that is 3, right? Or the third index, right? Index 3 is the correct position of the element 3. Right, now what happens is, now quicksort is called from from P to Q minus 1. From P to Q minus 1, right? That is on the left child. On the left child, when it is called, what happens? On the left child, when it is called, now 2, it is called on this part. Quicksort is called on this part. So P is equal to 1, R becomes 2 now. R becomes 2 now, right? So I haven't made the tree. You got the partition function, right? Let us make the tree for it. Otherwise it may be confusing at some points of time, right? So let me make the tree for it, and the tree is not generalized. Like in the case of merge sort, the tree was generalized because we were dividing the array into exactly 2 halves. But here we are dividing based on the result of the partition function. So we will not get the same kind of tree in every case, right? Because in the merge sort, what happened was we just did p plus r by 2 and found out q. But here q depends on the partition function, so it will not give a straightforward number, right? So it cannot be generalized for every example, but for this example we'll create the tree. Otherwise you may get confused as to what is calling which function, right? Alright, so let me draw the tree. So quicksort was first called on array A from 1 to 8. I am skipping array because it might become much and much bigger otherwise. So I am just quitting that. Other than that, what was it calling? It was calling partition on array 1 to 8, right? So what did it return? What did calling partition on array from 1 to 8 return? It returned 4, right? Yeah, it returned 4, right? So it returned 4, and because it returned 4, so what we did, we called quick sort from 1 to 3, and then we have to call quick sort from 4 to 8, 4 to 8, right? We have to call these two. So we already saw the result of this one. What it did, it had to call partition from 1 to 3, and then quick sort from 1 to, what did it return? It returned 3 only. So from 1 to 2 it has to call, because it has to call till q minus 1, right? What was q? 3 in this case. So then quick sort, then quick sort a q plus 1 r. What is q plus 1 r? 4, 3. Yeah, r is 3, right? So when we are calling on 1 2, what will happen? When we are calling on 1 2, now again partition, since 1 is less than 2, what will happen? It will again call partition on 1 2, and then it will call quick sort on 1, and what will it return? Now let us see what will happen at this stage. We have done this. So whenever we have to trace how the function carries out, we draw a tree like this, and we have to traverse it top to down, left to right. So we are traversing from top to down, left to right. We are done with this. We were exploring this part, right? So now we were exploring this part, and then we have done partition 1 3. What result it gave? It resulted in q is equal to 3, right? It gave q is equal to 3. Here it gave q is equal to 4. So we called quick sort from a to q minus 1, that is from 1 to 2. Alright, so when we call it from 1 to 2, what will happen? P is less than r, right? So it will again call partition from 1 to 2. PR, so PR are 1 and 2 for this case, right? So now it is calling quick sort, and let us see what happens when we call partition on array A from 1 to 2, right? When we call partition on array A from index 1 to 2, what happens is P is equal to 1 and R is equal to 2. Why? Because we have called partition with 1 and 2, right? So first argument will be taken as P, and the next argument will be taken as R. So P is equal to 1 and R is equal to 2, right? So then X is equal to A of R, right? See, in the partition function, X is equal to A of R. That is the first line. So X is equal to 1, right? So X is equal to A of 2. That is because R is 2, so X is equal to A of 2, that is 1. So X points to 1 now. I is equal to now P minus 1. I is equal to P minus 1. Now J has to run from P to R minus 1. What is R minus 1? 1. 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. So J has to run from 1 to 1. So J will run only one time. Now J is equal to 1 now. Now it will check if A of J is less than equal to X. Is 2 less than equal to 1? No, false. So what it will do? It will increment. But then it will find out that J has become equal to R. So the loop fails. Alright. So J runs till there only till 1, and now what it will do? It will just exchange A of I plus 1 with A of R, right? So A of I plus 1 is equal to I is here, so I plus 1 is I is here, so I plus 1 is this, and this will be exchanged with A of R, that is 1 and 2 will be exchanged, right? So 1 and 2 will be exchange. So that will be the result of the partition function. And what it will return? It will return I plus 1. What was I? 0. Right? So I plus 1 will be 1. So 1 will be returned as a result of this partition function. Right? So now when partition function returns q, what happens? Quicksort is called from p to q minus 1. That is, what was p? P was 1 itself. In quicksort p was 1 itself. Right? And q minus 1 is 1 minus 1, that is 0. Understood? Why? Because partition has returned 1, so q becomes 1 now, and quicksort has to be called from p to q minus 1, that is 1 to 1 minus 1, that is 0. So it will be called from 1 to 0. Now when quicksort is called with p is equal to 1 and r is equal to 0, what happens? If p P is less than R. Is P less than R? No. 1 is not less than 0, right? So this condition, if condition fails, so this will not be executed, it will directly return, right? And the next thing to be called will be, so this line is already called. Now what will be called? A on Q plus 1 to R. What was Q? 1, right? So 1 plus 1 plus R. 1 plus 1, Q plus 1 and R. What was R? 2 itself. It will be called on 2 and 2. So when quicksort is called with parameters 2 and 2, what happens? Is 2 less than 2? No. So again this condition will fail and this will not be executed. It will simply return, right? So we have traversed till this point. We are done with all this, right? Now we are here. We are on quicksort with 4 and 3, right? So when quicksort is called with 4 and 3, what will happen? 4 is less than 3? Sorry, 4 is less than 3? No, 4 is not less than 3. So what will happen? This condition fails and this won't be executed. It will directly return, right? So what has happened till now, in the array 1 to 8, this part has already been taken care of. Half part has already been taken care of. Why? Because we are already done with this part. We are done with quicksort on 1 and 3, right? Now we are moving towards calling quicksort on 4 and 8. Now let us see what happens. Now this part is done. Now quicksort is called on 4 and 8. When it is called on 4 and 8, what happens? P becomes 4 and R becomes 8, right? So is P less than R? Yes, 4 is less than 8, right? What happens? Q is equal to partition A, P, R. Q is equal to partition, let me remove this, because otherwise it will be very confusing. P and R depends on here, alright? So take these parameters and set appropriately P and R, right? And then check the values, okay? So if P is less than R, if 4 is less than 8, what will happen? Q is equal to partition A, P, R. Now partition will happen on this array, 4, 8, right? On this array the partition will happen. 1 second. 4 was it? No, it will be called on 5 and 8 and not 4 and 8. Why? Because 4 was returned here, right? So Q was returned here, Q is equal to 4 here. Now quicksort is called on A, P, Q minus 1. What was P? 1. Q minus 1 is 4 minus 1, that is 3. And then quicksort will be called on A, Q plus 1 and R. What is Q plus 1? Q is 4, so Q plus 1 is 5 and R is 8, right? So it will be called on 5 to 8 and not 4 to 8. 5 to 8. Okay, so it will be called on this part. Alright. So first we did this part and then this part. Why? Because the partition resulted in this index. So this element was already in its proper place or in its correct position. So we called quicksort on this part, right? So after we are done with doing quicksort on this part, we are sorting this part, right? Because this element is already in its correct position. So we call quicksort on first this and then this. So now we are at this part, right? Half of the problem is solved, or the first part of the problem is solved, right? The first part of array is sorted. Now we are moving on to the next part of the array. So how we do it? Q is equal to partition A, P, R. Q is equal to partition A, P, R. So when partition is called here, what will happen? X is equal to A of R. What is R now? Let me write it. For partition, P is equal to 5 and R is equal to 8, right? So X is equal to A of R. A of 8 is 8. So X will point here. Now I is equal to P minus 1. P is 5. So 5 minus 1 is 4. In this I should write. So I will point here. Okay, because I points to one index smaller than P. Now J is going from P to R minus 1. What is P? 5. R minus 1 is 7. J will go from 5 to 7 in order to decide which of the elements are smaller than the pivot element, that is 8, right? So what happens? Now it will see if 7 is less than equal to 8. Is 7 less than 8? True. What it will do? It will increment I and exchange A of I with A of J. But J also points here only. So 7 is exchanged with 7. Nothing will happen. Now J will be incremented. J will be incremented. Now is 5 less than equal to 8? True. What will happen? I will be incremented and a of I and a of j will be exchanged. Again I and j point to the same element, so exchange will not result in anything new, right? Now j will be incremented further. Now is 6 less than equal to 8? True. So what will happen? Again increment I and exchange a of I with a of j. Now again nothing will happen because I and j both point to the same element, so nothing will happen. Now j had to run till 7 itself. So 7 value has come. We have reached till index 7. So what will happen? J will stop here. Now what we will do? We'll exchange a of I plus 1 with a of r. So I points here, a of I plus 1 and a of r. R is 8. A of r is 8 itself, right? A of 8 is 8 itself. So 8 is, we are exchanging 8 with a of I plus 1. A of I plus 1 is also 8. So as an exchange also, as a result of the exchange also, nothing new will happen, right? So what we saw in this case was, since all the elements before 8 are already in their correct position, the loop is just running but nothing new is happening, right? We are again incrementing I and j both point to the same element, and the exchange does not result in anything new. Then again j is incremented. Then again we find an element smaller than the pivot element. Then again we increment I, and again I and j point to the same element. And then again, as a result of the exchange, nothing new happens. So this keeps on happening. Why it happens? Because 8 is already in its correct position. Why? Because 8 is already greater than all of these. So 8 is in its correct position, right? So what it will return? It will return I plus 1. What is I plus 1? 8, right? So partition will return 8 only, okay? So there is no space here. What should I do? I should write it here, okay? Quick sort 5 8. What was it calling? It was calling partition on 5 8. And then what value partition returned? 8. Now quick sort is called on P Q minus 1. What is Q? Q is 8 now, because Q is the value returned by partition. So what value did partition return? 8, right? So what we do is we call on P and Q minus 1, that is 5 and 7, and then we again call quick sort on. Now when you are making the tree, no, you will write all these below this. I don't have space, so I have written it here separately, right? Now what will happen? A of q plus 1 and r. Quick sort is called on A of q plus 1. What is q plus 1? 8 is the q, right? So q plus 1 is 9 and r is 8. Okay. So now let us see what happens when quick sort is called on 5 7. Now when quick sort is called, what are all the things that quick sort has to cater to? Quick sort has to call partition on 5 7, and then quick sort on some value depending on what this returns, what this partition function returns. So let us first call partition on the indices from 5 to 7, right? So why we are calling on this part? Because this is already in its correct position, alright? So we have to call partition on this part, and afterwards if there would be some element after this, then we would be calling it on the right side also in the later part, but there is no right side, so we are calling on this part, right? So we are calling now partition on this part. So for this part, what happens? P is equal to 5 and R is equal to 7 from here. P is equal to 5 and R is equal to 7, right? So pivot is equal to this element, X is equal to this element now. X is equal to A of R, and I is equal to P minus 1. I again points here because it has to point to P minus 1, right? So P minus 1 is 4. Now J has to run from P to R minus 1. What is R? 7. So J has to run from 5 to 7 minus 1. That is from 5 to 6 J has to run, right? So J has to run from 5 to 6. What happens? Is A of J less than equal to pivot? 7 is less than equal to 6? False. So what will happen? J will simply increment. So now 5 is less than equal to 6? True. So what will happen? I is incremented. I will point to here now, and A of I and A of J will be exchanged. What was J? This. So A of I and A of J will be exchanged, that is 7 and 5 will be exchanged. Alright, and now when j now j had to run only till r minus 1, so r minus 1 is reached, so j stops here. Now a of I plus 1 and a of r will be exchanged. What is a of r? 6. So 7 and 6 will be exchanged because I plus 1 is 6 and a of r is 6, right? What I mean to say is a of r, that is a of r is 6 because r is equal to 7, so a of r is equal to 6, and I plus 1 is 6, so a of I plus 1 is 7, so 7 and 6 will be exchanged. Just look at the pivot function, partition function that we discussed, right? So 6 and 7 will be exchanged and it will return what? It will return I plus 1, that is it will return 6. Alright, so now this partition function returns 6. Now quicksort will be called on P and Q minus 1, that is 5, 5, and then quicksort will be called on Q plus 1, that is 6 plus 1, 7, and R. Alright, so now what happens? Now when we call quicksort on 5 with 5, 5, what happens? P is not less than R, so it will simply return. Now when we call it on 7, 7, what happens? Again it will return because P is not less than R, so this condition fails, so this will not be executed, right? So again, now we have traversed even this part. So this part is traversed, right? Now again when we call it with 9 and 8, again P is 9 and R is 8. So P is greater than R, this condition fails, so it will not also return anything. Now we are done. We are done with 5, 8 and we are done with sorting it. Is this array sorted? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the way how we apply quicksort in order to sort the elements, right? How we first call the partition function in order to return an index such that all the elements to the left of that particular element or that particular index are less than the element at that index, and all the elements to the right of that particular index or that particular element are greater than that particular element, right? So all the elements on the left side were smaller than 4 as a result of the first partition, and all the elements on the right side were greater than 4. And similar was the case in all the subsequent partitions that we did, right? As a result of partition, we have to just partition the array around the pivot element so that all the elements that are smaller than the pivot element are put on one side and all the elements greater than the pivot element are put on the other side. And then we quickly recursively call quicksort in order to sort the array, alright, on the smaller sub-arrays that we get as a result of the partition functions, and by calling quicksort on the successive smaller arrays, right? So this is how we sorted the array, alright, using the quicksort. Also the time complexity of the partition function is theta of n. Why? Because there is all the other statements are constant, the only statements that are taking time are the for loop, right? So for loop is running from P to R minus 1. Let us say there are n elements in the array, alright, that is n is equal to R minus P plus 1. There are n elements in the array, right? So the loop is running n minus 1 times, that is order of n. So the time complexity of the partition function is order of n, alright? And now I will just leave this here because the video is otherwise going to be very long. We will discuss the time complexity of quicksort in the upcoming video, not in this video, alright, because it may require a little more time, alright. So this is it for this video. I hope you liked this and understood this, and if you like it, then please don't forget to press the like button down below. Subscribe to my channel for more such videos. Press the bell notification icon so that you get notified every time I put up a new video. And also let me know in the comment section below which topic you will love to watch next. Okay, so I'll see you in my next one. Bye.